This is the Pamu Z1, an active noise-canceling earbud with an unbelievable price point. But while previous Pamu products have delivered sound quality way above their price point, when it comes to noise-canceling earbuds, you usually get what you pay for. Will the Pamu Z1 be able to deliver great sound, a great price, and great noise canceling? It's time to put these earbuds in and take them for a run. 10.46 miles, my first mini workout after the Chicago Marathon last Sunday. Today's workout was a 2-mile warm-up and then 3 times 2 miles at a moderate effort. Not really gonna worry about pace right now, but a moderate effort with a 1-mile float and then another quick cool down. I had a couple of issues with my running watch for today, so I'm not exactly sure what the overall average was for paces and heart rate, but good to just get the legs moving, kind of shake everything out, and realizing that I'm still not fully recovered from the marathon, but fun to get out there and run today. And today I ran in the Pamu Z1 earbuds. It's a set of earbuds that I've been testing for the past couple of weeks now. I think it's been maybe almost a month that I've been running in these earbuds, and I want to tell you all about them. But before I do, I want to go over some disclosures. These are a set of earbuds that was sent to me by Pamu for the purpose of review. However, they're not paying me to make this video or to use these earbuds, and they're not going to get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So with that disclosure out of the way, let's talk about the Pamu Z1. First, let's go over some specs. As I mentioned, these are active noise canceling earbuds, and I hate the phrase active noise canceling earbuds, but it has to exist because there are some sellers on places like Amazon that will sell noise canceling earbuds in air quotes. And what makes them noise canceling is that they just plug up your ears and they cancel the noise physically, but not actively. So now we have the term active noise canceling, which means that there's technology in there that is working to counteract and cancel out the sound that's around you. So that's a feature that these earbuds have. And with that, there are a couple of modes, and some of which I think are particularly important for runners. And so while there's the active noise canceling mode, which is going to be useful for like if you're trying to cancel out the noise that's around you, maybe you want to concentrate, you're studying, or you're trying to eliminate some of the excess noise as you're commuting, you have that mode. But there's another mode that I like as a runner, which is the transparency mode. And what that does is it takes the microphones that are already built into the earbuds for like when you're using a phone call, and it takes the sound and pipes it in so that you can still hear what's going on around you, even though you got music on and you got those earbuds in your ear. And so for me as a runner, I want to be able to hear my music or my podcast or my audiobook, but I also need to hear if someone's about to pass me on the path. Maybe there's a bike coming, or maybe there's cars coming in my peripheral vision won't catch it. I want to be able to hear all those kinds of noises around me just so I can be as safe as possible. So the transparency mode is really interesting for me. And then they have a third mode that these earbuds can be in, which is just kind of like nothing, and it's just kind of like, I guess, what other earbuds would call just noise canceling. Not active noise canceling, but just the physical noise canceling, or nothing is what I would call it. So those are the 3 different modes. It's IPX4 rated, which I believe means it's resistant to like splashes of water, which for a set of earbuds that I'm gonna exercise in is kind of the bare minimum. I haven't had any problems with them in my month of use so far, and I've done plenty of sweating in them, but usually I like to see a little bit of a higher rating, something that's gonna be able to withstand a lot more of that sweat ingress, which once that gets into the earbuds, that really starts eating the components. So that's something that I kind of worry about. But a lot of other earbuds in this category are IPX4 that are not necessarily intended for like sports use, which these aren't necessarily intended as a sports earbud, but in case you do want to use them, you certainly can. In terms of battery life, the battery life is epic on these. They're saying that you can get 6.5 hours on a single charge, and with the case you can get a total of 24 hours of playback, and that is pretty consistent with my usage. I've not been able to kind of like do a full drain test, but I took them out. The longest run I had them out was for a 20 mile run, and by the time I was done with that, I think that there was like only like a third of the battery was used up. So I think it's pretty close to what they're claiming, and easily I've been able to go over a week of all of my training without having to recharge the case at all. Just drop the earbuds back in the case, close them, and then by the next time I want to reach for them again, they're already fully charged, and that just lasts for at least a week in terms of my usage. When you do want to charge them, there's USB charging plus also wireless charging available. And the nice thing about it is whenever you charge them or whenever you put the earbuds back in the case, there is this little light that lights up to let you know that like it's doing something different. It is kind of bright, and after a while you're like, I don't really need that much brightness, but I do like the approach that they're taking with this, giving it a little bit more flair and just real clarity when it comes to like, all right, you're actually doing something with it, whether it comes to charging or putting the earbuds back into the case. Another thing that this set of earbuds has, which Pamu has been working on with a lot of their earbuds, is there's an app that can go along with it. With that, you can customize what some of the taps do, and there's no physical buttons on these. Everything's done by taps. You can customize the taps to some extent. There is like a single tap will pause it, and that goes on either side. And then you could set what happens with a double tap on each side. And you could also figure out or configure what happens when you do a long press, like on either side. So there's some customizability there. Plus there's some customizability in terms of the equalizer. You can pick from a couple of presets like pop, jazz, classical, rock. I think those are the categories. So you get a little bit of variability that way as well. Plus also in case there is a firmware update, that's something that you would do through the app. The last thing that is a feature of these, which is not something that I'm really using, but Pamu sent me some of these as well. And there's these different color bands that you can use. And what it does is it pops over. You can see on this one's just a black one, which is the one that I've been using, but you could pop out the center band and kind of change up the colors and make it look a little bit more like a macaron or like a little weird pastel hamburger or something like that. I don't think I'm the target audience, but it is something that in case you do want to customize yours just a little bit, something else that you can do. All right, with those specs out of the way, let's talk about the sound, which is gonna be probably the most important thing to a lot of you guys. And like all Pamu products that I've tested before, I know it's not like a household name, but they've sent me a bunch of different earbuds to test over the past couple of years now, and every single one, I'm just amazed by how good the sound is, especially when considering the price. So in and of themselves, I think that these earbuds sound great. And I've been testing them up against my other kind of favorite earbuds, which are the Jabra Elite 85T. And I'd say they're pretty close in terms of sound quality. There's a couple of areas where I definitely think the Jabra Elite is better. For example, like in the basses and all of like the elements of sound that create the foundation of the sound stage, like those things that all the mids and the highs sit upon, like those bass notes that really kind of envelop you into the sound, is definitely better on the Jabra Elite 85T. You're still getting those though on the Pamu Z1, and you're still hearing all those things. They're just not as kind of like deep. They're not as strong. I'm like not sure like how to like kind of really express or visualize sound, but like there's just something that's not as like fulsome about the sound at those kind of like lower registers. But on the other hand, there are certain kinds of sounds where I do think the Pamu Z1 is doing a better job than the Jabra Elite T that costs like 4 times as much. And those sounds are in the trebles and in the highs, but it's not just like high notes. It's usually kind of like ambient type noises. So like whenever there's like kind of crowd noise that's either in like a movie that you're watching or in a podcast you're listening to or in your music, I can kind of hear all those like kind of crowd murmurings, all those like kind of just ambient noises. I can hear them just crystal clear with the Pamu Z1, to the point where I've been on runs or I've been just wearing them around during my day-to-day life where I've kind of looked around because I thought there was something behind me, or I thought there was some other noise kind of like over to the side and I want to check out what it was, but it turns out it was just, I was hearing a lot more of like the higher end of the ambient sound from the Pamu Z1. Tried to listen to the exact same things in the Jabra Elite 85T, and I'm either not hearing them or they're just really faint, so it sounds like part of like the reproduced music or the reproduced sound. It didn't sound like I was actually in the environment. So there are certain areas where the Jabra Elite's winning, certain areas where the Pamu Z1's winning, but both of these are doing a really great job at reproducing sound, and the Pamu doing it at the price that it's doing it, it's just absolutely amazing. So now let's talk about a little bit more specifically what's it like to run in the Pamu Z1. So when I was running in these, I feel like these are a really lightweight earbud. They're lighter than they look. I was a little bit concerned about how bulky these might be, but the weight is really, really light. The fit worked really well for me. I went with kind of like the ear tips that they come with, which is normally what I do, and they fit just fine. And overall, I felt like the music I was listening to sounded pretty good. There's a couple of areas where I feel like, you know what, this has definitely felt a little bit more like a budget product to me. And those areas are in terms of interacting with them, like in terms of like the taps. I have a really hard time like making the taps register. I could almost never get it to work on the first try, and usually it takes like 5 or 6 tries before I can get it. And a lot of times I was like, all right, I gotta see how many times it's gonna take me to get this double tap to work. When in reality, like after the 3rd time, I'd probably just like get my phone out and do whatever I need to do with the phone, because the taps just don't really work all that well for me. And then add in the running to it, and then it made it pretty much impossible to interact with these earbuds. So like all like the nice ability to customize the taps and all those things, pretty useless for me because I had a hard time doing that. And for me, as a practical matter, I don't really like interacting with the earbuds by touching them all that much anyway, because it just feels like you're sticking your fingers in your ear and it just pushes the earbuds a lot. So like not a huge deal, but if that's something that's really important to you, I had a really hard time getting my presses to register with these earbuds. The other problem that I had with these is that I just don't think the transparency mode on these is very good. So like, I ran a 20-mile run. I did it with a group. And for a lot of it, what I was planning on doing was keeping my music really low or kind of almost off, but still having the earbuds in and using the transparency mode so that way I could still hear all the other noises around me. And basically, I could hear noises fine. So I could hear where like runners were and stuff like that, if there was someone to my right or someone to my left. And I could hear just like the air, birds, like the lake, like all those other sounds I could kind of hear fine. But any conversations, I had a really hard time like hearing any of that. The transparency mode is effective for me as a runner in terms of like, I want to be able to hear ambient noises for safety purposes, but like it would also be nice if like I could also hear people's conversations. So from a bare minimum, I think that the transparency mode works in doing what a runner needs for it to do. But from what I really want from active noise canceling earbuds, like if I'm going to go to the effort of buying active noise canceling earbuds, I still want to be able to have some sort of conversations, even if my earbuds are in and I've paused the music. So it's not as good as I would like it to be. The last thing let's talk about, because I know I don't really use it that much, but I know for a lot of you guys, when you're watching these videos, that's something you guys always ask. So I'm going to throw in a couple of video samples where I'm talking to the camera, talking to my iPhone 11 as I'm walking to go pick up the kids from school. So you guys can get a sense of like if you were to use these on a Zoom call or if you're going to call someone FaceTime with these, what it would sound like. So I'm going to do it once with the Z1 and then once with the Jabra Elite 85T, just so you have like 2 different sets of earbuds to compare against. All right, guys, I'm just doing a quick audio test with the Pamu earbuds. Walking down the middle of the street. This weekend, they are shutting it down to have restaurants and bars allow more sidewalk seating. It's the last time they'll be doing that this summer, but I definitely enjoy it, and I'm very tired this week. So looking forward to not having to make dinner, instead take the family out so they can enjoy dinner outside in the neighborhood. This is a sound test of the Jabra 85T Elite, just as a comparison. It is the same street as the last sound test, but it is a different day, so there could be different kind of level of ambient noise, but I wanted to just give you another sample of sound just to compare against for the Pamu. So those are the 2 sound samples, and you guys can decide for yourself, like, if there is a significant difference that you would or wouldn't be able to use the Pamu Z1 as your kind of communications earbuds, as well as kind of your consumption or like listening earbuds as well. So overall, I feel like the price on these right now, I think is like under $60. You can buy them from the Pamu website. And I think at that price, it's just an absolute amazing deal. I've tested other active noise canceling earbuds that are kind of in the like the $50 to $100 price range. And I think these are clearly the best ones in terms of the sound quality and also in terms of like the noise canceling properties and the transparency mode. I think they're doing a great job at this price point and something that I can easily recommend if you're looking to spend kind of like in that $80 range for a good set of earbuds to run with. If you have any other questions about the Pamu Z1, feel free to put them in the comments down below, or better yet, stop by the live stream that I do Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, and I'd love to be able to talk to you in the chat. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?